and I call that the people's seat. And I'm running basically for three reasons. I'm running to protect the Constitution of the United States, our limited federal government, which is getting trashed by our representatives that are in Washington right now. And I'm running to stop the out-of-control spending that we've got going on. It is just absolutely outrageous what they're trying to do. The federal government's involved in so many different things that it shouldn't be involved with. The third thing that I'm going to try to do is bring common sense to Washington. That has been missing. It's lacking with regard to the laws that are being written. It's lacking with regard to the regulations that are being enforced. And I tell everybody that New Mexico common sense, which we all have here, but it's sure missing inside the Beltway, means that individuals solve problems and that government bureaucracies create them and perpetuate them and continue on. And we have got to get back to a limited federal government. Less government is good.
And so one of the items that has been discussed in Washington for the last 6 months to a year is health care. Mm-hmm. And are you going to sign on to the Club for Growth's petition to repeal any kind of health care bill that's passed?
Yes, I will. I read about that, but I have not signed that yet, but I'm willing to do that. I think there were 41 candidates the last time that I looked at the information, but I am willing to do that. No to Obamacare. I think the government is screwing up health care and is going to screw up the health insurance portion also in this country.
And so what other out-of-control spending would you focus on to make sure that your idea of common sense legislation passes?
I've got several departments of the federal government that need to be almost completely redone or terminated, and I think the Department of Education has been a Republican Party platform for a long time that we need to get rid of that. The Department of Energy, which is important in certain portions of the congressional district, but we have not done anything with regard to our energy situation in this country since the Department of Energy was created 35 years ago. And I know the energy business inside and out, being an oil and gas guy here in this state. So those two in particular, right off the bat, I think we can shrink dramatically.
And what would you do then, or have you read the lawsuit that was filed by a bunch of trade associations, some businesses, and 3 Lee County groups, and they're saying the state of New Mexico's environmental department does not have the authority to set their own air standards ahead of one federal standard.
Right, and I agree with that. That's the New Energy Economy petition. Very familiar with the greenhouse gas and cap and trade related items, and I support their efforts. In fact, I was planning to testify in January at the original public comment period, but they only schedule. It's our governor, scheduled 4 hours for public comment, for something, and again, I think it's scheduled in March to take public comment, and I think they might have scheduled a half a day this time. It is absolutely outrageous what they're doing to take away our freedoms. We have to have carbon-based energy sources right now, and we cannot tax our businesses here in New Mexico and drive them out of the state, and that's what this governor is doing.
What are you hearing from people here tonight and on the road as you campaign?
I am hearing quite a bit about how our representatives are not listening and how they're not representing the people. I don't know how many people I've talked to that said they have written letters or called and they have either not received any response whatsoever or they get a form letter back and it doesn't even match up with what the issue was that they had contacted their representative about. So people are just very frustrated and they're tired of not having a town hall meeting, and I think that they work for us. Our representatives work for us. I'm trying to work for the people, and I will have town hall meetings anytime, anywhere to meet with constituents.
And just on Friday, I believe, you were kind of critical of adding Kokesh's stand with some issues. Can you kind of give us a highlight?
Well, we've been getting ready to get into the campaign, and there's some major differences. I think Adam's qualifications really has two strengths, and one, he's an internet celebrity, and second, he's a war protester. And if you compare our resumes and our backgrounds, I think there's a clear choice for who can represent New Mexico and who has the experience. And we're just going to get into that, and that's part of politics, and it's going to be a tough fight.
But you were a little bit more vocal about his war protesting just the other day. Tell us.
Well, we had some differences. This specifically was up in Farmington. There was a letter that was being handed out. questioning me actually on my commitment to protecting the Constitution, and I took offense to that. And it was written from it was an unsigned letter from a veteran, and the veterans that I have talked to do not agree with Adam's position. And so I'm standing up for veterans that believe we need to be proactive in the defense of this country. We are at war, and I'm going to support the commanders on the ground and their decisions. And Adam has a different opinion.
It's been a Democratic district for quite a while. It was held by a Republican for one term. What do you need to do to distinguish yourself to make that a Republican district?
I think what's going to happen is conservatives and conservative Democrats, and specifically conservative Catholics in the Northern District, are going to turn out and come out and vote for me. The Rio Rancho area is also going to be very important. There's been explosive growth here in this area, and people that are frustrated, they've seen their taxes go up at all different levels, they're going to be turning out. And so I see the big differences are going to be the turnout here in this particular election and the disaffection with what's going on in the Northern Congressional District with Ben Ray Lujan. He's just not representing the people, and I think they know that you're not entitled to the job just because your father might be Speaker of the House.
And just one more question. I know that the fourth quarter fundraising ended on the 31st of December.
Yes.
And you're compiling the numbers. Can you give us, are you hitting your target numbers? And can you tell us what your report's going to look like on the 31st of January?
I haven't seen our final numbers yet, but we're right where we want to be on the numbers. Don't want to really commit to any figure right now, but it takes a lot of money to run this campaign, and I'll appreciate anybody's check and support right now.
Were you given targets by the RCC to meet?
I have not been given any targets, nor have I had any communication with the RCC nationally. So, we're a grassroots campaign. There have been a lot of people saying that, we're somehow the establishment, and that's not true. I mean, we're a grassroots campaign coming out of Farmington, and we've been working our way all around the district, and we've had great response.
Tell us something we don't know.
Something you don't know. I clean the meat department of Albertsons stores, and I tell you what, I'm ready to go to Washington, D.C. and clean up the cesspool and the stink and the stench that we got there. So look forward to talking with people out on the campaign trail.